So today we'll start with a very important component of your mains examination, that is essay writing. So when we are discussing about your mains part, right, UPSC mains, there are few things which you have to remember is that there are certain areas which are very essential if you want to clear the exam. Without getting a good score in those areas, you will be out of the race. So there are three such areas. One is your optional. 280 to 300 range is essential if you are looking for a good rank. Even people who score ranks such as 400, 500, I'm not just even talking about top 10 or top 50 rank, even anyone who is in the list, one thing which you will find common is their optional marks will be good. Without this range, you will not get an interview call and you will not obviously get a rank. The next is ethics. Over the years, if you see trend, people have been scoring in the range of 130 to 150 marks, right? These are the highest marks, but average again 110, 120 marks. These are possible in the ethics paper. Then thirdly is the essay part. Now essay also 150, 160 has been very common. Depends upon year to year, but at least 130, 120 you can score. Now, if these three areas you are lagging behind, your score in mains will be low. You cannot get an interview call and you will not get a rank here. So these three areas make or break your chances of clearing the exam. These three areas are very important, right? Optional, obviously whatever is your respective optional, you might be doing it nicely. Ethics and essay are two things which are the areas which are, you can see weak points of most of the aspirants, right? Ethics, when we come to that, we'll discuss. Ethics major problem is source. Which source to cover? Secondly, even if I'm reading a book, I'm not able to solve PYQs, right? Then the issue of time management. And people lag in this scoring subject, right? If you compare ethics with other papers, GS1, GS2, GS3, it is more scoring, right? And comparatively less syllabus. When I say less syllabus, say if you are doing GS1, you will do history. Within history, there is ancient, medieval, modern, post-independence, world history, art and culture, Indian society, Indian geography, world geography, right? So many components of one paper, which is 250 marks. When you're doing GS2, polity, governance, social justice, IR, again 3-4 components. Economy, again, economy part, GS3 has economy, internal security, disaster management, science and technology, again so many components, right? So when we come here, it's just about your ethics only. Ethics, integrity and aptitude, that is the name of the paper, right? So compare to other things, because when you study different subject, different mindsets are needed. If you're studying economy, a different mindset is needed. If you're studying internal security, a different mindset, a different book is needed. Here, one source, whatever you are studying, right? What is the strategy for ethics? Later on, if I take your batch ethics, we'll see that, right? Has ethics been done or not? Right. So that we'll cover on later. But here there is a source which can be limited and it consists of just one paper. But again, People don't complete it before your prelim. Ideally, ethics part should be completed, revised by December, because after that you will not have time. Your prelims will come up, you will have to concentrate more on the MCQ part, more on the prelim related component, and this gets missed out. And it's a whole one paper, it's not one topic. Say GS1, history part you do in, there are a lot of overlapping with prelims. Your polity part you already do it, and it's not that you have to do something new during the mains. This is something entirely different from other subjects. There is hardly any overlap with the prelim component. So again, this is the area where aspirants falter. They will not get much marks in the ethics part. And then this is unfortunately most neglected part. People don't do it beforehand. Only when they clear prelim, then they realize that there is another paper, and it's not that it is of less marks. It is equivalent to any GS paper. It is 250 marks, but it is not covered properly, right? Proper strategy is not made, proper practice is not done, right? Now in these lectures, we'll try that, 4 days of classes will be there. Then after that, I want you to attempt one test, right? 1 or 2 tests. Because see, essay is one thing you have to remember is, it doesn't come by listening to things, right? As compared to, even if you're talking about optional, there are a lot of things where your key concepts are there, you can understand by listening. Essay is something you learn only and only by writing. In fact, even any aspirant who comes to me that, I want to improve in my essay, my first, guidance to him is go and write essay. Whatever, however you are writing, whatever is your writing style, just write it once, show it to me, then I will give you the strategy regarding essay. So essay is best learned by writing. Obviously, before that, 3-4 days, we will understand how to write essay, we will understand through previous year questions, through essay topics, and even the classes will be a component of a mixture of 2 things. First, I will give you a topic. In the class, 10-15 minutes, you will brainstorm about it. How to brainstorm, I will tell you. Right? Then after those 10-15 minutes, we will have an interactive class. I will ask you, like, what do you think about this topic, right? What are your views regarding it, right? Then I will give you the model answer of it. Because again, see, essay paper, every year different topics comes in. It's not that it has a syllabus that, okay, the questions will come according to any random quote they will pick up from the internet and ask you to write 1,000-1,200 words there. Right? So there you have to practice more, you have to learn the art of essay writing. Rather than just listening videos will not do much benefit. Initial 3-4 lectures, obviously you need to know what is the structure, how to write, how to maintain the flow, what sources are to be there, that I'll discuss. But after that, how much marks you will get depends upon how much you put in this. So because I usually in previous batches, I usually just take the lectures and there is no tests. And what I have seen is students don't write essays, and the classes, whatever I take, they are a waste without checking whether you are writing in the right direction or not. So we will include the component of test during the classes itself, right? Okay. Now coming back here, essay, like I told you, it gets neglected a lot, right? And this is very unfortunate because it's the simplest of things. There is no syllabus per se, right? Whatever is given in the syllabus, those are the guidelines. I'll tell you what guidelines UPSC gives. There is no book you have to read. Right? You just have to learn one thing, that is how to structure it. How to maintain flow and coherence in your essay. Just these things. In fact, your content will come from your GS only. You don't need to buy some extra book. Your knowledge of GS, we'll see how the knowledge of GS is there. That content will be arranged in your essay only. Right? So there is no extra book, there is no syllabus. Easiest of things, still people don't cover this. You will spend 2 months on polity, you will spend 2 months on economy. The part which is the most easiest, right, which doesn't even have a syllabus, where there will be only 2 questions which you have to solve. Section A, one essay, section B, another essay. You are totally ignoring it. After your prelims, then aspirants realize that, okay, essay is also one paper. It's one important paper. There are not only 4 GS papers, 5th essay is also important. In fact, it is the first mains paper you will write down. So first thing which you should remember is, please don't neglect it. This paper is your high yielding area. High yielding area is less effort, more return. No matter how hard you try in any GS subject, you can't score 140, 150. Very difficult. Very rarely you will find out in GS1 somebody has scored 150. I don't think so somebody has scored up till now. But essay, it's very easy. Right? I wrote 2 mains. In both the mains, I had 154 and 158. Right? And I will tell you how to repeat the score also. When I gave my first mains, my score was just 90 marks. Right? Because I had a lot of confidence. I was good in writing, I was good in school, and I thought that there is no extra effort required. I will write. I was very confident about my writing skill. Just few days, in fact, just 1 week before the mains exam, I was going through previous year question because I was confident. Right? Paper came, I wrote the essay, and I was happy about it also. I thought I had done good. But I had just 90 out of 250 marks. Which was a low score, right? Now, from that point of view, I realized that essay which we write in UPSC is very different for what we have already done or already have learned in your, schools or your colleges. It's very different. It needs a proper strategy. Right? It needs a proper structure. You have to learn the structure. Now, in the next attempt, till my result, up to the next attempt, I devised a strategy. I developed the art of writing essay because that is very important. Content will come. Like I told you, you don't have to worry about content. But first you have to learn how to structure your content there. So, through the next attempt, I did lot of permutation combinations, saw toppers copies, right, saw their topper talks, right, went through the previous year question, then I devised a structure. And this time I practiced. But again, I didn't practice much. I wrote 2 full-length mock papers and I got 154. Next year, I was sure about my structure. I just revised few notes which I have made. I had 4 marks more. I had 158 with 0 practice, right? But I won't suggest this to all of you. Practice is important because at the end of the day, it is about your writing skills also. How well you write. If you are confident with your writing skills, you learn the structure and then you can go with 2 or 3 essays. That would be enough. But if your writing skills are not good, right, get your essays checked. I will tell you what is your level of writing skills. Then try to make it a point that, at least every Sunday, there are so many websites, every Sunday they'll release one essay topic. Try to write down. If not full length, try to do at least the brainstorming of that particular essay. Right? The structure of brainstorming we'll discuss in few minutes. So what I'm trying to convey here in gist is that essay marks are easy. You have to learn the art and they can be replicated again. Next attempt, I hardly read few things and I had the same marks, almost the same marks. So may it be any subject, you have to catch the main point which they are looking for. If you catch that point, your marks are replicated. If you don't catch your point, next time also your score will be same. If you're not doing well in a particular subject, next year if you are not understanding where are you lagging, what are they expecting, your score will be same, or you're not working on other things, right? Your score will repeat itself because they have certain parameters to judge. That is why both the times my score is almost similar. There is not much gap. Same happened with me in interview also. Both the times score was almost same. And interestingly, both the time I had the same board. Same person was the chairman. Both the times similar 184, 187 marks. So it means there are certain parameters around which they judge you. If you understand those parameters, getting marks is easy. That is why people who score ranks, when they give rank improvements, right, their marks in the subjects which were there, they are repeated. Only the areas where they lagged behind, they increase the score there. So it's easy to replicate. There are candidates who every year clear prelims, every year, with very less effort, because they got hold of that particular criteria, parameter, which will lead to more marks. They have understood the mind of the paper setter. That you have to catch. And that is very important for your essay. You should know that proper structure. You have to follow that proper structure to get good marks. And very little effort. You don't have to learn anything. You don't have to learn any theory. You don't have to learn any thinker. Just the way in which you will be writing the essay. That's it. That is more than sufficient for this paper. Right? Yes, are we clear here? Okay. Now, moving forward with, there are certain guidelines which are given in the UPSC syllabus. They have written 2-3 lines where they say that we are looking for you to write essays in 1000 to 1200 words. First of all, the word limit is very important, and this word limit will come in around 6 to 7 pages. So 6 to 7 pages you have to write on, depending upon your font size, might go to up to 8 pages also. You have to write in about a particular topic. The next thing which they have written is the essays should be written in an orderly fashion. There has to be a proper flow in your essay. All the paragraphs of the essays, they should be well connected with each other. It is not that you write something and then next paragraph randomly you start talking about something else. There has to be a connectivity within the entire essay. How to do that we will learn later on. But this very important thing you should remember, the thoughts should not be arranged randomly. This was my mistake in my first attempt. I had written good points, but they were very randomly arranged. Whatever was coming into my mind, I was writing it. Say for example, when you read a novel, there is a connectivity within all the pages. Even if they introduce a new character, they will give certain context about it. They will give certain introduction so that you understand that particular book. It's not that in the chapter 1 of that particular novel, say you are reading a crime thriller and suddenly somebody's name comes up and you don't even know who is this person, how he is related. This should not happen in your essay. Same thing. It should be well connected so that the examiner doesn't have to turn the back page to understand what this person is saying. He should read all the 8 pages in one go. It should be so crystal clear. It should have so much connectivity that is very, very easy to understand those things, right? So this is one expectation with UPSC wants you with respect to essay, right? Now coming to the essay topics. Now since last 6-7 years, the focus has been on philosophical, or you can say quote-based essays. Now pre-2017, essays, usually one quote used to be there, rest used to be technical. Technical essays means direct essays, right? Say, is science and technology Boon or bane? Very direct question, right? And this has been the question was about cyber space, not science and technology. Very straightforward, and it has given you a boundary to write about. That you treat it as a boon or as a bane. Very straightforward, right? Or if they are asking about, this also has been a question in 2014, cooperative federalism. State and prospects. Present state and prospects. Again, very straightforward. You don't even have to think about it, right? They've already defined the boundary for you. They've already defined what they want you to write with respect to this topic. These were the technical essays which, for the first time in 2017 a quote came. And before that, all the essays used to be very simple. And content used to come directly from GS. Cooperative federalism you do in polity, if you know about it, you write 1,000, 1,200 words. Now after that, after 2017, slowly philosophical essays started coming. Now these are certain quotes which require certain different criteria to write, right? So usually during that time, because essay paper has two sections, section A and section B. And there are 4 options here. You have to choose between one essay topic and here also. So during that time, teachers used to give a directive that don't choose a philosophical quote. If there are 2 philosophical quotes, rest 2 will be much easier topics. Cover that, right? Similarly here also. I'd leave those things that will be difficult to attempt. But since last 3-4 years, what they have done is all the 8 topics, they are quote based. Which require certain brainstorming, which require deciphering the theme, basic theme. We will see at the end of the day, philosophical quotes can also be turned into technical essay, but you need to know the meaning of the quote. Meaning of the quote, once you understand, then the writings will be as simple as technical essay only, right? Say for example, this topic is there, is science and technology boon or bane? Now, 2 years back there was a question. Topic, empires of future will be empires of mind. We will discuss this topic in detail also, but just telling the difference, right? So they are saying the future society will be empire of mind. Empire of, what used to be the empires of past? How would they, they used to look like? Yes, anyone? Kingdoms, empires, how they used to look like? How did you acquire kingdoms? By wars. So the empires of your past used to be based on force, sword, wars, right? You had to conquer a part and that became your empire. Now the quote is saying future, the empires of future will be empire of mind, not through war but through mind, through ideas, which will include a part of science and technology also. Who is controlling the data? Who has more scientific innovations? That will be the empire of future. China will be becoming future superpower because they are leading in this manner. There your soft power will also come up. That today we are not fighting and capturing people, your territories. We are using ideas to capture people, right? We are not literally fighting wars, but through ideas we are capturing. How did American culture, spread to the entire world, right? They captured it. Whatever food they were eating, whatever dresses they were wearing, it got, copied by the people in the entire world, and that is how they controlled everybody. Right? We will come to this, how to decipher it. So now you can see there is a slight overlap here, but it is not direct. They have not told you directly that the modern society will be based on ideas. That would have been ideally a technical essay. Now they have given you a quote. You have to understand the quote, you have to decipher the theme, and then you write an essay. And here is where the most aspirants falter. Understanding the theme. Structure is a later thing. Understanding the quote is very important. Right? How do you understand the quote? Try to break it down. Right? Like say for example it is saying empires of future. What does it mean? Right? It means the future society. Obviously we do not have kings and kingdoms anymore. We do not have empires. And then you also think, if it is talking about future, how did the past look like? That is also important. Right? And when it is saying empires of mind, what is the metaphor being used here? Do you know what is the meaning of metaphor in English? You use something which is not direct, but as a, indirectly it refers to a particular thing. So empire here is literally not the empire. Right? Empire is who is controlling the world. Right? Who is having major control over the supply chains, over the ideas. Right? There was a time during your World War I, during the time colonialism was going on, there was a quote, one who controls the sea controls the world. And it was true. Your England, your UK, it was good with Navy. And that is why, in spite of being a very small island nation, it colonized almost entire world for not 10 years or 20 years, 200 years, 300 years, 500 years. Because they controlled the sea. They had a superior navy present with them. So you will have to break down the quote. Understand the metaphor behind it. We will, don't worry, don't get, do not have this, first of all, the attitude of fear towards this essay. They are as simple. Towards the end of 3-4 classes, you will understand what I expect out of you. But listen every word which I am telling very carefully. Right? You want to take running notes, you can. Right? Now, first step will be you decipher a theme of the essay. Deciphering theme, understanding the metaphor which is being used. That is very important. They do not want you to discuss about empires, and we anyhow don't have empires right now. We have countries, we have states. But you have to recognize the hidden meaning behind it. Once you recognize the hidden meaning, the essay becomes simple. Right? What will be the dimensions which you will write down, we will discuss in few minutes. Right? So your first job with respect to essay writing is decipher the theme. Break down the quote into parts for better understanding. Identify the metaphor given. Identify the hidden theme. Right? And write down the core theme or the basic meaning while you are brainstorming in your essay. That is your first step. So when you are new to essay writing, you have not attempted, you have not seen the your essay syllabus or whatever, you have not seen any video. Your first job is very simple. Go back and see the PYQs. You don't have to write an essay. Just go through year-wise the previous year question and just write their meanings. Identify the core theme here. That's it. Most of the students, they interpret the essay meaning in a wrong manner, and even if you write 10 pages also, when you deciphered a wrong meaning of the quote, your whole 10 pages, 11, whatever you have written is a waste. So first, learn the art of finding out the hidden meaning of the quote, and it's not difficult. They use English words only, right? Very simple in nature. It's not very difficult to decipher. This much knowledge, obviously your language knowledge has to be this much where you will understand. There might be little difficult words, here and there is always a translation given. If you are good with Hindi or whatever regional language translation is given, you read from there, right? It will be easy, but first job starts from here. If the meaning of the quote you have done in some very different manner, your essay, the entire essay will be wrong. You will get a 0 here because you did a very wrong interpretation of the essay. Let's just take one example. We are just talking about the meaning right now. I'm not telling you how to write, what is the structure. We'll do that later on. We'll move very slowly, step by step. Because an essay, if you do too much hurry, right, you will not understand how to write it. Now there was a previous year essay. Hand which rocks the cradle rules the world. This was one previous year question. Let me just confirm it, the quote. Yes, hands that rock the cradle rules the world. Now this was the essay here, right? A quote is there. Take 1 minute, try to break down it, try to see the meaning. If you can make out, it's okay. If you're not able to, I am here. Just from your point of view, what do you think is the core theme of this essay, right? What are the metaphors being used? Take 2 minutes and think about it. Brainstorming is very important for essay. Right? Spoon feeding doesn't work for your essay writing. I can come here and give 10 model essays. That will serve absolutely no purpose. So be participative in the class. Don't use your phones because these are previous year questions. You write the code, you will get the full essay. But that's you're just cheating yourself only. It will not affect me. Right? I will take my classes and go back. I don't have to give paper. Be honest to yourself. Don't use phones. Try to understand the meaning, whatever comes to your mind about this essay, then I'll tell you. The meaning, basic meaning. Yes, anyone? What is the meaning? Yes. A little louder. It is about women?
A mother who can cradle it.
Okay. So first of all, you are right in this manner. When it is saying rocking the cradle, what does it mean? What does it stand for? Who rocks the cradle? Do you know what is a cradle? A small cot kind of things which can be moved, in which baby is put in. Right? So it is saying hand that rocks the cradle basically decides who rules the world. Right? So hand who is rocking the cradle. And you have to do a broader interpretation here. In your mind, think about this. If there is a person hand which is rocking the cradle, first of all, it is talking about the formative years. About a child. About initial phases of life. Now who rocks the cradle? Yes. Mother, one thing can be that it is about mother, but do a broader interpretation. Talk about father also probably, right? Because you have to write 1,000-1,200 words. If you just focus on one component of mother, right, it will be a very small or very basic kind of interpretation. In 2-3 pages you won't have enough material to write down. So always do a broader interpretation. Don't fix on one point, right? Or with this we can see that basic theme is surrounding socialization. Rocking the cradle is a metaphor. It is not actually somebody is talking about that who is rocking in the cot in which the child is playing. It's a metaphor that in the formative years, the person who is passing down the basic values, norms, morals, attitudes, how well your socialization is, how our parents brought us up. Right? What initial values are being instilled in us. So probably example of grandparents can also come. But if you do a more wider interpretation, even your teachers, coaches, they also shape you. So basically the quote is trying to say that hand which rocks the cradle in the formative years, the person who is shaping you, right, is a determinant of what kind of future generations will be there, who will be ruling the world. Not literally ruling, but who will be these adult people, who will be the leaders, philosophers, thinkers, bureaucrats, normal people of the society. It starts from the basic point of socialization. Now, theme is deciphered, rest part is very easy. But you have to make a mental picture in your mind about person who is rocking the cradle and treat it as a metaphor. Do a broad-based interpretation. Do not restrict yourself to just mother. Right? Try to come to a more broader issue of socialization. Who passes on us the basic components of our personality? Those are the adults, right? Mother is there, father is there, teachers, coaches, grandparents. These can be probably some part of your essay. Focus might be on the mother, right? Because major caregiving component is with the mother. But other parts also you can explore. Essay is all about exploring. In your GS paper, you just have 150 and 250 words. You don't have much luxury to write down more of your point of view. Essay is an area where you have a large canvas, 1,000 words. You have the liberty to write your point of view, but it's a double-edged sword. It can expose your mindset also. In 1,000 words, the examiner will get the idea of your mind. If you come across as a bigot, if you come across as a casteist person, if you come as a rigid, conservative person, opposite will happen. You will get less marks because they don't want officers like this. So it's a double-edged sword. It can come in your favor, but it can be against you also. Use your words very judiciously here, right? But the canvas is very large. You have lot of area because, say for example, this quote, recently there was ethics test also. In that I had given this quote in the ethics paper. There you will probably just write one line about mother, father, etc. Here you have to expand it. It's not a 10 marker that only 100 words in the body of the answer you have to write down. You have to elaborate things. So deciphering the theme is very, very important. Make a mental picture. Break down the quote. How many of you were able to quote, decipher the theme in this manner, even with respect to mother? Yes. What did you think about this quote? Anyone, even if it is wrong. We can discuss a counter view also. Some might have done a different way of interpretation. Yes, anyone? Anyone who would like to share? Yes. Yes.
The dominant countries swinging small countries and they are
ruling the world.
Okay. See, now from there, what you have done is first you have come up to this point, rules the world. Start point by point. Hand which rocks the cradle. Ask yourself question. What is a cradle? You don't have to write it down, but just ask yourself, what is a cradle? Who rocks the cradle? Right? Ask these questions to yourself. Move point by point. Now, what is a cradle? It is a kind of, movable cot in which a child is put in. Who rocks the cradle? Right? Majorly mother. Now you cannot write a nanny because that is irrelevant. Right? Even if a nanny is rocking, because our point here is you have to decipher the hidden meaning, not the literal meaning. Even a guest who comes to the house can rock the cradle. But that is not the point of this essay. You have to see the hidden meaning. Okay, rocking of cradle is by any caregiver, right? Mother, father, grandparents, right? Or in the formative years when you are done with this, you can write about teachers also, right? Hand which rocks the cradle rules the world. So it means whatever this hand is doing in the process of rocking the cradle will decide who will rule the world. Go step by step, right? And try to see it from the point of view of the quote. Don't put in your preconceived notion here that this might mean this. Read it carefully, break it down, ask yourself questions. Because if this step goes wrong, your entire essay is wrong. If you write something very different, right? Sometimes there might be minute, say for example, this one point about coaches and teachers, this one student had written. So I said this is a good enough interpretation. He wrote about mother, importance of father, and then also about teachers also. So now this is acceptable because this is a added thing which he had done. He didn't base it entirely on teachers or gurus, or he didn't give a different interpretation. Right? Anyone else? Yes. What did you thought? Yes.
Can we go contrary?
Sorry?
For example, can we go contrary? For example, story of Gautam Buddha.
Contrary. See, opposite part will also come. That I will tell you in structure. Contrary with Gautam Buddha, how did you relate it with rocking the cradle?
For example, he was made to stay away from everything. Like he was given all those luxuries.
Okay, that we will discuss later on. One aspect of the essay when we'll do is, once you explain everything about the essay, one step which comes after that is you flip the quote. You see the opposite part of the quote. What will happen if the hand which is rocking the cradle is not good enough? If you have a drug addict mother, if you have an alcoholic father, if you have a father who beats you, if there is child sexual abuse, right? Or there is a broken family, right? Now this is the opposite aspect of it. You are somewhere right here, but not a very relevant answer, right? Relevant point. So, but your theme is right. We write the opposite part. We flip the quote. We see the mirror image. That this was the meaning of the quote, but we want to write an essay. Essay means more dimensions. We have to do a 360-degree analysis of something, which we do in your GS answer also. We tell about the answer and then we do criticism also. Similarly, here we will see the opposite aspect of the quote. What will happen if this particular thing is not there? I will give you a framework how to devise the dimension in your essay. Don't worry about that. Right? That will be another aspect. Right? Mostly if you see your various psychopaths, sociopaths, murderers, serial killers, usually you will find out one common factor. Their childhood was not stable in nature. They had absentee father. They had drug addict parents. Right? Something or the other, some problem might have been there. Right? So that is why the adult which is there in the future, he is mentally disturbed. Not just psychopath, general trauma from your childhood. becomes part of your personality. There are a lot of people, right? If you go into your psychology part, there are certain people who always choose very wrong people to get into a relationship. Why? Because they're very deprived of love from home. So they find home somewhere, try to find out love outside the home. Right? And in this quest, they usually get, becoming a prey to people who exploit them. Right? Because they never got that love from their parents and they look somewhere outside and there is a possibility people will exploit them. So how we are, how we think, what is our personality, what are our values, what are our morals, what is important for us, what is not important for us, our sense of right and wrong, our ambitions, our goals, zeros upon to the person who rocks our cradle in our formative years, who teaches us, who shapes our mind, who shapes our personality. This thing you have to decipher from this quote. Once you do this, then the next part is very easy. Then it becomes a technical essay. If the essay would have been role of socialization in a person's life. Now this is a straightforward quote. What do they do is convert that straightforward thing into a quote. That's it. Right? That is the only thing which they are, through which they're trying to make it little difficult for you. They're trying to assess your thinking capabilities. Are you able to think beyond the box? Are you able to interpret certain quotes? Right? And in the meanwhile, they're trying to assess your writing skills, your thought process basically. 1,000 words, you expose your thought process. What kind of a person you are. It gets exposed in those 1,000 words and we want a good picture should come. Right? And in this process, we will see how do you put across a good picture of yourself in those 1,000, 1,200 words. Yes, are we clear here? And don't worry about deciphering the theme. As we move on with your essays, this will become easy. Right? But participate in the class, even if it is wrong. See, nobody is judging. You are much better than a person who is not speaking anything. Much, much better. Whatever, even if you have done the most silliest of interpretation, if you're not comfortable here, come after the class that I think this should be the interpretation, but you told something different. Is it valid or not? Probably you might teach me something better. See, essay is all about varied viewpoints. In the way which I think you also might give me something extra. You might also tell me a point of view which I might not have thought up till now. That is the beauty of human brains. We think, all of us think in a very different manner. And we want to incorporate that in essay writing. So when each of you will give one dimension, one example in the class, we'll have so much enriched content available within the 2 hours of the class. So participate, do an interpretation, write down when you are given time, so that you can judge yourself. If you're not writing anything in the class when you're given time, how will you judge yourself? You will not know if you are on the right path or not. Right? Okay. Now coming back. Now when we are looking at an ideal essay, we'll first see few parameters, right, through the mnemonic of ideal essay only. That what are we going to ensure when we are writing the essay? First thing is, we are looking for an insightful introduction. This is the first point of an ideal essay. I stands for insightful introduction. Now when we were writing GS answers, right, we start with the definition. If you have attended any of my society lectures or ethics, or you are an optional student, I usually say start your GS answer with some standard definition of the keyword which is given. Right, that is the way. Or you quote a current affair probably. Right, or you write a data or a statistic in your answer, or if it's a polity answer, you write the constitutional article. Right, that is how you start the answer. Now the point is, your essay is not a GS answer. So the start has to be very different, right? The start should be very insightful in nature. In fact, my entire essay should be like that. It should be very engaging in nature. You read newspapers, you read editorial. Does the author start with a definition? No, he does not. Right? He slowly comes to the point he wants to convey. Sometimes he even uses certain, examples at the start also. So we want that our essay should have engaging introduction which provides insight into the topic. Now, how to do that? We will take help of an anecdote. Anecdote means, very simple meaning. Anecdote means account of something, a story form. So instead of starting with a definition, we will start our essay with one page of a short story-like thing. The story now can be fictitious in nature. Right? You introduce two characters, right, which might be conversing with each other, or you tell story of two people, right? Or it can be real-time story also, non-fictitious. Now this story should be related to the topic, not any random story. This is just a way to bind the attention of the examiner. He starts reading something. Say for example, you see an Instagram reel or a YouTube short. Most of the shots, will start with something very engaging, right? Recently, I was recorded one short on, caste, although it was a sociology topic. So there was a topic was about Brahmin Christians. Now this is a very peculiar thing. Either you can be a Hindu Brahmin or you can be a Christian. You can't be both. So I started the short that what if I told you, because you hardly have 1 minute for your short, like what if I told you that there is a community in Goa who are Brahmins and also are Christians. Right? Now it starts with a question. It binds the attention. So basic, when we're talking about content creators, about how to be visible in the algorithm, this is a hook line. Right? If I start with that caste system is a Hindu institution, but it has been seen in Christians also. No, this is very boring. I will not bind, the person will swipe up. But if I have a hook line here, that what if I told you that there are Janeyu wearing Christians who pray in the churches, right? Now this is interesting. Now you might want to see what comes next. Probably I'll put a picture also of a Janeyu wearing person who has kneeled down in the front of your cross or Jesus picture. Now this is a hook line. Your essay should have a similar hook line, a story, a short story, which will bind the attention of the examiner that what this person is going to tell next. But it should be related to this. Say for example, last essay, hand which rocks the cradle rules the world. Probably you give some example from some person's life, or you tell the importance of mothers in the life or fathers. How do they shape their life, right? Or how their confidence which they give you, it is very important what kind of adults we are becoming, right? Take for example, there was one movie of Amir Khan, Tare Zameen Par, right? Where that example is shown that the parents never put a, faith in that child. He was dyslexic, that was never taken care of. He was always forced to read English, do maths, but he was very good in some other part. Then his teacher realizes this, that he makes wonderful paintings. He can be an artist. You don't need to put every child in the same mold that you read English, Hindi, geography, etc. Every child is different. He recognized that. Unfortunately, instead of his parents, his teacher rocked his cradle. Right? Probably, fictiously, if you see, that person might have grown up into a big artist only because there was a person to rock his cradle. Otherwise, the world would have missed a great artist. Right? There's another, story which you can write down. So Thomas Edison, everybody of you know Thomas Edison, right? Person credited with almost 1,000 plus inventions. Right? Now this person, when he was in school, he was a slow learner. So one day he comes back from his school and gets a small slip from the teacher and he hands it over to his mother. Now the slip reads that Thomas is addled. Addled means very slow learner or very low IQ person. He should not be continuing the school, and signed by the teacher. Now the mother reads it. Obviously she is very concerned and very sad reading something so negative about your child. Now Thomas Edison is standing beside him. He asks his mother that what is there in the chit. So the mother says that the teacher is saying that you are too different, too bright to continue in the school. From now on, I will teach you. Right? Now, if this would not have happened, we would have missed such a great scientist. If the mother would have told, you are useless, you are dumb, you're stupid, right? Start working outside. There is no use of you. She instilled that confidence. And later on, there is a person who's ruling the scientific world, who does so many inventions. Why? Because there was a person who was rocking his cradle very nicely, forming his personality. Right? Although there are a lot of talks about this story that it might not have been true, but it is, given. You can start with the story that there is a young boy. You, after the story ends, then you tell that who were the characters, that this young boy is none other than your Thomas Edison, the person who is a shining star of the scientific world. Now there is a hook line. Examiner is engaged in your first very page. What is the story? Who is this young boy? What is written in the chit? How does the mother convey? So this hook line, it tries to bind you, right? If you have seen, a lot of YouTubers do this only, right? Initially they'll put very controversial things at the start, right? When you see the whole video, that is not even the point of the video, right? Say for example, if you see any video, say for example Dhruv Rathi's video, in the start there will be few clips which will make you interested to watch the entire. Otherwise, why would anybody watch 1 hour video? Right? Say for example, when there was a podcaster, Raj Shamani, he interviewed this, what is this person? Vijay Mallya. Right? So there were 2-3 clips there. One clip was where Vijay Mallya said, I am not a chore. Now you will be enraged. Like while he's taken the money, he's went outside and he's saying, I'm not a chore. Now you will be engaged to read the entire video. You want to know where this person says, and now in the 1 hour video, anywhere that dialogue might come. So you will watch the video. Similarly in shorts, in reels, mostly the content creator, they have an unsaid rule. Within 5 seconds, you have to bind the attention. If that 5 seconds goes away, person will scroll further. Your reel will get lost. Right? And that is why sometimes they put a lot of, different, the display pics are very different. Right? Very provocative sometimes and very funny sometimes, and sometimes the reel which is inside is not even related to that display pic. But they want to bind your attention. Same perspective you should have with your essay. Obviously, examiner will read your entire essay. It's not that if your start is not interesting, but it creates a good impression. It makes him interested, right? He's checking 30-40 copies, he's feeling sleepy, he's having his tea, right? Very basic type of generic essay, and then comes a story, right? And suddenly he is very attentive that what is the story? And that is the point, that is the turning point where you will score better than other people. If you start with the definition, socialization is defined. This is not essay. So the introduction has to be very insightful in nature, right? You have to start a story kind of thing, right? And you know, people usually say you can quote, don't write, because they're already given a quote. If you start with another quote, it's like somebody asks you a question and you again give him a question. Quotes can be included somewhere in between, but not at the start, especially if it's a philosophical essay. And now every essay is philosophical. So start with some interesting, engaging thing which binds the attention of a person, right? Which makes you, interested in watching a video. I am forgetting the name. There is one, there's one content creator on Instagram. His way of storytelling is so interesting. Right, he doesn't have much followers, but it's very interesting. Something pseudo insan or something. Yeah, pseudo. Just if you get time, although you should not be on Instagram, but still. Pseudo. I think, yeah, his name is Sudarshan. Just watch one or two of his reels, right? The stories are so nicely told, right? Very small incident, but he'll build up a lot of suspense, right? There will be goosebump movements when you finally know that this is the person he was talking about, right? So his way of storytelling, and the interesting part about this content creator is he has around 200k followers, but he releases videos very, after a very long time, like in 1 month only one reel will come, but every reel has lot of views because the storytelling is very nice. The way he talks about a very small incident, right? It's in a very interesting way that you watch that reel. Even if he releases one reel in a month, people don't unfollow him because they are waiting for his next reel. So that storytelling capabilities should be there in your essay. Treat essay like you are conversing with the examiner. You're talking to him. You're taking him into your world of thoughts, where there is interesting facts, interesting examples, good writing skills. An essay is something which should be slowly built up. Don't come right away on the judgment that yes, hand which rocks the cradle rules the world. Don't do that. Slowly build it up, right? Like slow cooking is there, right? Slow cooking in India is done for many foods, right? May it be your mutton or even your dal. It is cooked for long period of time. There is one dish, I don't know if you have know about this, dal bukhari. That is cooked for almost 12 to 14 hours. Simple dal which can be made in 15 minutes also. But the taste comes from its slow cooking. Same should be there in your essay. Slowly build it up. Make that suspense. Explore a different dimension, and especially your start should be very insightful. That is one very important difference when it comes to your essay and if it comes to your GS answer. Right? Yes, are we clear here? Now, just to give one more, we'll do essays in detail also, but step by step. So now this is another essay in your previous year question. Is it visible or not? I'll share it in the group also. Anyhow, the essay topic is, now this although is a quote, but it is very straightforward, right? This was one simple essay which came. Girls are weighed down by restrictions, boys with demands. Two equally harmful disciplines. right? Topic is very straightforward, that girls are weighed down by restrictions. You don't have to go outside at this time, you don't talk to this person, sit like this, don't laugh like this, right? Don't wear these clothes. So girls in the society, women in society, they have lot of restriction. Come back home by this time, right? Cannot go out during this time. You cannot, or some girls in, houses of low socioeconomic parameters, you can't go for higher studies because the college is in the city. You can't buy these kind of clothes. You can't go on your own on a trip probably. So girls in the society, they have a lot of restrictions. But the thing is, when we're talking about a patriarchal society, it is not just harmful for the women. Obviously, if you talk with respect to a scale, obviously more burdened are your women. More restrictions are on women. But that same very system puts demands on your males also. Right? You have to be the provider. Right? Unemployed man is not treated nicely in the society. If you want to marry, you have to be employed. You have to earn money. These are the demands of the society. You cannot show your emotions, right? You cannot cry. So these are the demands which society puts, a patriarchal society. Why would you say that the males should not cry or should not show their emotions, right? Females and males, both are human beings. Both of them have tear glands. Both of them have emotions. Why just one party can show those emotions, other cannot? And that is the reason why most of the heart diseases, mental health problems are increasing in the males. So there is both the sides. A patriarchal system is affecting both the females and the males in equal proportions, right? Not equal, I would say more burden is on women, obviously, but it doesn't mean it spares males. Males are also put through undue demands. You don't just have to earn, but you also have to earn more than your wife. Right? So there are demands on males also. Now this is the essay topic. We will discuss this in detail, but first just focus on the introduction part. Right? The anecdote part, the start part. How do we, introduce this particular topic? Now what we can do is probably have a fictitious story about two people, two friends of opposite sex, and try to discuss about their life. Through this topic only, how restrictions are there on the girl and how demands are there on the boy. Right? So this anecdote is there, just, I'll dictate also. So this first paragraph says, in a quaint village, in a small village, nestled amidst rolling hills. Right? So you paint a picture. Right? Instead of just writing once upon a time, you paint a picture that there is a small village, hills are there, right? Nice small villages there, peaceful villages there. So create a picture in the mind of the examiner. That is how you bind the attention, right? Like I was telling you that what if I told you there is Janayu wearing Christian kneeling in front of Jesus. That creates a picture. That person is wearing a Janayu and he is kneeling in front of the cross. So create that picture. There lived two childhood friends, Asha and Ravi. So you introduce two fictitious characters. These are not real. You have created them. They were inseparable, often seen exploring the lush fields, climbing trees, chasing butterflies. So their start was similar when they were young. Playing together, right, roaming here and there in the fields, etc. Right? However, as they grew older, the world around them began to impose its expectations. Right? Slowly you are moving towards the essay topic through the story of Asha and your Ravi. Right? Then next you write down, Asha, bright and curious, was suddenly confined to the four walls of her home. Her freedom to roam the village, explore, was curtailed. The girls must be protected, her parents said. Right? Then they weighed her down with restrictions, modesty, decorum, silence. The vibrant spark in her eyes dimmed as she traded her books for the dreams and dreams for chores and obedience. Right? The dreams which she had, she exchanged it with the household chores. Learned to cook, learned to probably, do stitching, whatever. And obedience, where you have to agree with whatever rules or restrictions are put on you. Now, on other hand, you have to discuss about Ravi also, because this topic is not just about girls. It is about girls and boys. So, your anecdote should have both of them. Right? So, Ravi on the other hand faced a different kind of burden. You must be strong, his father would say. The future of the family rests on your shoulders. He was expected to excel, to be best and never falter. Right? These are certain, expectations, certain demands. Right? Especially if you see in Indian society, if there is a boy after 2 girls, 3 girls, there is a lot of expectations from him. He has to top the school, he has to get the best education, he has to top the college, he has to get the best job. Right? So there is a lot of expectations, especially because other 3 are girls. Right? And sometimes, they are not allowed to falter, they are not allowed to fail. That is not an option for them. Right? So parents see that boy as their personal project. That this project has to be successful no matter what. So these are demands. Probably the young boy wanted to be an actor or an artist or a painter, or wanted to open an NGO, but no. You will be the, the star of the family. You have to clear IIT exam. You have to get a job in an MNC. You should be earning this much amount of money. So these are the demands which are usually put in the same patriarchal society which wants male dominance. And the success or honor or respect of the family will be based on how well the male member of the family does. He does not have option to become a house husband. What if he wants to sit at home and take care of children? That can also be the issue, but society doesn't accept that there can be a housewife, but they cannot be a house husband. Right? So Ravi, at this point of time, it crushed his playful spirit. Right? And then the story continues that years pass on, they meet again as adults. Right? And they realize both of them have become very different. Right? One hand, the light which was there in eyes of Asha, it has dimmed. And the playful spirit of Ravi has been crushed. Both of them equally harmful disciplines. Now through this story, instead of defining what is patriarchy, what are these demands, what are these restrictions, you conveyed it through a story form, where examiner will be very interested to know where does the story end. Right? Then through the story, at the end you write down, in this moment they realize profound truth. World's disciplines, though different, equally shaped their struggle. Asha's restrictions stifled her spirit, while Ravi's demands on him, it crushed his soul. Both bore the weight of social expectations. Right? Now, the next point here is, once this story is done, once this insightful introduction is done, you don't have to copy the same things, words. It might be little difficult vocab-wise. General, simple language is enough. Essay doesn't demand a flowery language. Right? But if you can convey through good words, there is no harm. But if you cannot write difficult words, your different vocabulary, it's okay. They are expecting simple language only, not very big flowery language. In fact, there was a previous year topper of 2014 or 15, there was a girl. Now she was an English literature graduate. Right? From English literature graduate, you will expect very wonderful essay. right? So now in her topper's talk I had listened, so she said that in my first attempt I wrote poems also, which I made on the spot in the essay paper. I wrote very nice language, but my score was below average. And then I realized it's not about the language, it's about the structure in which you are writing. For some point, okay, if you're writing nice, good words, quotes, it's okay, but that's not the only area from where you will get marks. If your flow of essay is not good, if your structure is not good, you will not get good marks, right? Anyhow, coming back, so once this insightful introduction is done, how to move on to the introduction, right? Now comes the concept of connecting line or a connecting paragraph. From insightful introduction, next structure is, we will do this in detail tomorrow also, introduction part. But within these two components, insightful introduction or anecdote and introduction, there has to be a connecting line or a connecting paragraph. Right? There has to be a connection between the two. Right? Now, the connection between the anecdote and the introduction can be in the form of certain thought-provoking questions, which sets the tone of the essay, what to expect in the essay. So like here you can write down, how do societal restrictions on girls stifle their potential? Question mark. What pressures do boys face to confirm the traditional masculinity? Question mark. So these will be the dimension you will explore in your essay. Are the burdens placed on boys and girls equally damaging? Question mark. Let's explore. That is how you shift. You don't shift it in a sudden manner. From this 2-3 questions, you are conveying to the examiner what to expect. What to expect in the next 6-7 pages. What dimension what I'll be covering, right? There can be more dimensions also, but at least a basic, announcement that these will be the things I will be discussing. And then you write, let's explore, let's examine, whatever. Right? Are we clear about the start of the essay? Insightful introduction, are we clear here? Yes? So you can make a story like this, or you can make a real incident like Thomas Edison also. Your choice. Okay, coming back. Next is, this I have told you also, detailed development. Essay is not your answer that in 2-3 lines you come up with something. Right? You develop it in a detail equivalent to slow cooking. Slowly build it up. Right? So there has to be a detailed development, elaboration. Essay stands for elaboration. You have to elaborate all the things which you are giving there. You don't have to very quickly, you have to end it, because see, this story could have ended in one paragraph also. Let Asha and Ravi are there. Asha witnessed this, Ravi this, that's it. You can cover it in 5 lines also. But that is not our aim. We have to write a detailed version of the topic which has been given to us. And as a component of that essay, this part, although don't go beyond 1 page also. Writing a story in 2 pages is overkill. Right? So restrict yourself to 1 page, or even if it is less than 1 page also. Right? 75% of the 1 page. That is also enough. But don't go beyond it. Because your main marks will come from the body of the essay as an answer also. Introduction is just for the start. But major marks will come from how you discuss that topic. So detailed development has to be, don't be in a hurry to finish a point. Slowly build it up, slowly increase you bind that examiner, slowly come to the point, right? Give good amount of one paragraph to whatever point you are discussing. Don't be in a hurry to give judgment at the start of the essay that yes, girls are weighed down by restrictions and boys by demand. Don't give yes or no of something. First you will, this judgment will come at the end when you will write the conclusion. That what do you extract out of all the 1,000 words which you have written? What is your basic judgment about this? Right? So a detailed development has to be there. Then examples and evidences. Relevant examples have to be used to support your argument. Now, your essay, you have to remember, it's a combination. Even ethics answer is a combination. Ethics is a different thing we'll discuss, but it has to be a combination of analysis and example. Some of the students have this habit that their entire essay will be just examples. Each paragraph will be example. That should not be there. You explain something, you analyze something, then you validate with example. Example is not the entire description of your point of view. It is a validation that, for instance, this and that. So evidences, examples, even data can be there only after you have discussed something, right? Say you are discussing about the restrictions put upon girls, right? Or you are discussing hand which rocks the cradle rules the world. First you talk about this hand which rocks the cradle, why it is important. Gives your values, norms, morals. Then you can continue with the example. But if you're only quoting examples in your essay, that's a wrong way. So it has to be in the dichotomy of analysis and examples or evidences. Now here you have a liberty to write elaborate version of example also. Say 3-4 lines you can write it on, but don't make examples half page long also. Like in ethics when we write examples, or GS when we write example, we write a very short 2-3 words we will write down. For example, this. Here you have a liberty that in 2-3 lines you can explain it. Right? Okay. Then analytical approach. Right? Same things. You have to analyze it. Right? So when you are analyzing something, right? Around what lines should I be analyzing? Right? Why of something. Right? Which, where, whom, how. Ask yourself questions around. Now, this will not be common for every essay that you will get these points. But analyze yourself. Why rocking the cradle rules the world? Now from this analysis you write down why it is happening. Why there are restrictions on girls. Why there are demands on boys. Who is putting these restrictions? Right? So depending upon the essay topic, you might be able to explore around this line. Why of something, what of something. Right? So this 5W1H model you can use to analyze your topics. You can generate dimensions so that you can discuss further. All of them might not be there in your answer, but at least 2 or 3. But this is not exhaustive. There can be other miscellaneous areas also, where you can explore that particular topic. essay should be in the form of exploring that topic in a 360-degree manner. You discuss each and every aspect of it. Why of it, what of it, where of it, how of it. More the dimensions, more comprehensive your essay will be, more points you will have. Right? So these things you should keep in mind, that essay has to be analytical, not descriptive in nature. It has to be a mix of analysis and examples. Examples are only and only to validate your point. You're giving a proof that this is the proof of what I have talked already. Right? Then logical flow. There has to be a flow of ideas. Each aspect of your essay should be connected with each other. Connectivity has to be there. Paragraphs should not be in an isolation. That one paragraph ends and randomly some other points you are discussing. There has to be a connecting, there kind of an announcement that now this is over. Next we will see this. Right, tomorrow we will see what are these connecting lines, phrases. I've made a document also in which I have given certain examples and options of connecting line and phrases. Right, tomorrow we'll do the sources of essay also. Right, and then we will move further. So a logical flow has to be there in your essay. Then it becomes an ideal thing. Now, next is engaging. Not just the introduction, but your entire essay should be interesting. You can use quotes, you can use examples, you can use, clever lines sometimes, or thoughtful questions. Here your newspaper reading habit will be of very use. Sometimes you come across very good English, very good lines in your newspaper articles. Note it down somewhere if you want to use it in your essays. So make it engaging. Not just introduction, but the entire essay should be engaging. Then it has to be structured in nature. There has to be a proper structure. We will do the structure tomorrow probably. Right? How it has to be structured. Right? Which component will come when. There should not be a random placement of concepts. Like in GS answer, I tell you that first write down features of something and then criticism. If one line is feature, next is criticism, then next feature, then next criticism. Right? This is not a proper structure. Finish one point at one place and then move on to next. Don't mix up dimensions. Don't mix up point of views. Discuss something at one place and then move on to the other part, right? So it has to have a proper structure. What is the structure? We will do that tomorrow, right? Then synthesis of ideas, different perspectives has to be there. That is very important. So if you are discussing hand which rocks the cradle rules the world, you also have to write the opposite part. What if the hand which is rocking the cradle, it is not good enough? What will happen? What kind of future adult personalities we will be producing? Different point of views have to be there. What about your rocking of cradle after formative years probably? So different point of views have to be there. Not a single dimension. Say for example this essay. Girls are weighed down by restrictions, boys with demands. Now introduce a different, you can flip the quote also. Girls are also, they are burdened with demands, beauty standard demands. You have to be fair enough, you have to be slim enough. Your skin should be this, right? Your skin texture should be like this. These are demands only, right? The whole conversation in Indian society specifically always centers around the weight of a woman. Whether she's lost weight, whether she has gained weight. These are the demands. At all times, you should fit that criteria of slim and petite. This is a demand only, right? Restrictions are also there on men. So you give a different point of view which is not there in the quote. that even boys have restrictions. They cannot pursue their ambition sometimes for the sake of family. Right? They sometimes cannot live their life fully because they have so many responsibilities which restricts them. Right? You will find out in lot of common conversations, right? Some of your uncle will say that I wanted to be a cricketer, right? But there was too much responsibility on me. I never went in that place. This is a very common conversation in Indian families. So it means the opposite point of view is also true. The restrictions are also on boys and demands are also there on women. Now this is a different perspective which you have introduced, which will make you different from other people. People will just discuss the quote. You introduce a different point of view. You do a synthesis of ideas. You go beyond the quote also. Like I told you, with the hand which rocks the cradle, you do a broad-based interpretation. You include father also, grandparents also, teachers also, coaches also. So you introduce there. Then it has to be argumentative. Right? You have to write argumentative in the form that you have to defend your viewpoint. You have to critique something also. Then lastly, which is very important, the why of essay, your voice, which is very, very important. Not my voice, not some topper's voice. Your personality should reflect in your essay. You can understand the basic structure which I will tell you how to write an essay, but at the end of the day, your personality, your voice should reflect there. Even when I made a standard structure for my essay writing, I never did it in the form that, everything was copied from one topper only. I read different essay copies. I read different PYQs. Then I took some good points from different people and then molded it according to my convenience, according to my writing styles. Some basic things should be there, but there has to be some additions, which is your writing style, which is your voice. That should reflect, right? Let your voice and, shine through the essay. My essay should look like it's my voice. Your essay should look like you are saying it, not some ABC person or not what I say about it. That is very important. They want to test your thought process. Thought process cannot be understood in a GS answer where you write 5-6 points in a very short and crisp form. Either it gets tested in ethics case study or in essay. These are two areas mainly what kind of person you are gets tested. So you want to put across something which is giving a good impression of you, which is telling the examiner that this person is bright, this person has a very good flow of thoughts and he is capable to, should be getting good marks, he should be getting 150, he should be getting 160. People have got even 160, 161 also in essay. So from this point of view, you might realize how important this paper is. Can you expect getting in GS1 160? Never. In the entire history, nobody has got GS1, GS2 or GS3 160. Essay, there have been so many examples. Right? There are so many examples where 150, 160, I am giving my own example. I have scored it, you can also do that. It's very easy, it's not difficult. I'm telling you, minimum effort I have put was in this paper only. But minimum effort with lot of, analysis, lot of understanding. Grasping that core point, that core theme. Once that is done, then your journey is very easy. Then you just have to practice it. So these, next 4 classes probably or 5 classes, we will discuss various previous year questions, structures. Then there will be a test, right? 1 or 2 tests will be there. After you give that test, then I will again resume the discussion of that. Because without writing, and please try, don't take it as an off day that okay, today class is not there. Treat it as a class only. Even if you're writing 4 pages of essay, it's okay, start somewhere. I always say that you're much better than a person who took a day off, that okay, today class is not there, only test is there, I'll sit at home and do something else. You're much better than the person if you've written, you came here, you had the courage to come here, sit down and write, even if 2 pages are there. Show it to me, right? You can even get a one-to-one discussion after the class is over. If you've not understood anything, if you want to just show your essay that this was your writing style, you will have that one-to-one mentorship also. Because in the last few batches, whenever I've seen students are hardly writing any essay, and I don't want that for you. For essay, lectures are not enough. It is the only subject. For other subjects also you have to do answer writing, but still you'll write something. Essay doesn't go without answer your writing of the entire thing. You cannot write essay in your mains examination if you have done practice beforehand. Right? So we will continue from tomorrow. We will see the structure. We will see the sources. Right, from where, which sources, GS is one source, but can there be any other sources? We'll also talk about connectivity in an essay, flow of an essay. What does the meaning of these 2 terms means, right? So we'll continue from here tomorrow. Thank you.